So you know that song by Tom Petty, Free Falling? Well, today's all about freestanding because I've gotten asked this question a ton over the last like 2-3 weeks. I don't know if people are camping in fields or what's happening. So how to set up a lean-to shelter without trees. I'm gonna show you right now. So people would initially think that this is a little bit of a strange video. You're in the woods, you're camping, of course there's trees. Why do I have to set it up without trees? And I used to think that too, but here's the thing. If you go to like a bushcraft rendezvous or a bushcraft gathering, or you're at a friend's house and you're gonna camp in a field and you still wanna use a plow point or a lean-to, you're not gonna have trees. The other thing that I often run into and have ran into personally, you go to state parks, you get an assigned campsite. All right, cool, great. There's like a tree here, a big tree here, a big area to park like an RV or something like that. So you can't tie off to anything, but you still want to camp this way. So that's where this is going to come into play. The downfall with this is you are going to have to bring some sticks along. So this is like a pre-planning kind of thing. And now if you're in the woods and you're going to be in an open area and you want to do this, of course you can cut the sticks. You're going to need anywhere from 4 to 6 sticks. For the sticks, okay, you're going to create sets of bipods. Any kind of lashing, a full lash or a quick lash like we do with our tripods will work with this, okay? So we're going to start out with that. Heights can vary of where they're tied and how tall these things are, and you're going to see in a little bit how that comes into play. Okay, so what you're going to notice here is that I am basically creating a clothesline with the 2 uprights, okay? I stake out one side, I then stake out the other side and work my 2 bipods in. What you want to make sure is that you wrap your string around the bipod. If you don't, they just keep sliding, okay? So you want to do that, and then you want to make sure that they're good and tight and your line is getting taut. All right, so here's what we got going on. We have this tied down here to a stake, okay? Run the line across, and then to the other side, look at that, movie magic with Dan. Other side staked out. Now, ridge line is there, it's tight, okay? So you got to play around with this a little bit. This is the worst part of this whole setup, is getting this ridge line tight. You can do it, just get your stakes in, these wrap around, pull it tight, and you'll be good. Play around with it. If you have a friend, way easier. I don't have any friends. Okay, so I'm going to now set this up identical to as if the trees had the ridge line on it, okay? I'm still going to use my prusik loops, and I'm just going to attach this. Slide my prusiks where I need them to keep this thing tight and be set to jet. But there's something else we got to do. Let me get this thing set up and I'll show you. So what you're going to notice now is we still have that ton of sag, the same as when we set a oilcloth or canvas tarp up between trees. So now we have to make an adjustment. The problem is, again, we're in the middle of nowhere. That's where stick 5 and stick 6 can come into play, lifting that center up. So what I did now is I took a loop on my paracord, stuck it through a loop, and added a toggle. That's gonna attach my line to my shelter. Now, I came back off my shelter about 6 feet. You can go a little bit more, you can go a little bit less. A good rule of thumb though is to take your next bipod and just set it close to your shelter, pull it out about a foot, and then while that is on the ground, stick your tent peg in. Okay, so I'm gonna drive that tent peg deep down in the ground there, and then I'm gonna grab my tie out line and I am going to simply just pull it back like this, leaving it doesn't have to be tight, not yet, okay? And I'm just going to attach this onto my tent peg. Now all I need to do is I need to grab this and I'm going to just open this up and work it up. Okay, what this is going to do now is begin to lift the back of my shelter. And like that, our shelter is set up with our loft on the inside, which is extremely important. We don't want any sag. We don't want rain to catch or snow to catch on that, or any precipitation, okay? Wind will also beat that up, so it's important to get that up in the back. The biggest thing I could say with this configuration is that this is not going to be as optimal as 2 trees, okay? Those trees provide so much stability, it's absolutely insane, but this will absolutely work. It does require some tinkering with, so just keep that in mind when you're gonna set this up. Again, you're going to an event and you're really not in that like hardcore backcountry type environment. You'll have time to play around with this, maybe drink a beer if it's allowed, and have a good time with it. So you will need, again, poles for this, at least 2 ridge lines. And the poles, of course, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. We used 2 in the back, that gave us 6. Now, if you're wondering, well, you said 5. If that back pole is just a Y branch, you can put a single Y branch back there, run your line through that, rather than the 2 on a bipod. I like the bipod a little bit better. But if you cut nice sticks for yourself, you can even let them dry really good from now until next summer, out in your garage or on the back porch or something. Don't put them inside, they'll crack. But you could take the bark and everything off, stain them, and have yourself sticks for events and stuff like this, and it'll work out just fine. So freestanding lean-to, this is how I would do it, and this is my recommendation for everybody that's been asking recently. If you did ask, here you go. I know some people, I was like, no, plow point. Here it is. All right, got my mind going, and this is what I would do. So another tool for the toolbox, and hope you enjoyed this one. So this was Dan Wolak with Coalcracker Bushcraft. As always, check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. And until next video, stay in the woods.